Nick Rekieta and his lawyer, Mr. White, have filed their response to the state of Minnesota in the felony drug, firearm, and child neglect case against Nick Rekieta and his wife, Kayla Rekieta. Mr. White is arguing that the difference between child services and the police is the different final burden of proof between the two actions, not any other difference in law, like statutes. This idiotic argument is doomed to failure when it is used to try and say there was no probable cause for a search. If Rekieta does not get the warrant thrown out, he is almost certain to lose in court, which is why he is doing this. Chips is not the police's commanding officer, and their investigative processes are far more limited in scope. They were also investigating two entirely different things, so it's utterly meaningless that they didn't find child abuse when the police were primarily looking for cocaine, found guns too while acting within the scope of the warrant, and both of those presumptively establish abuse, neglect. The police were not obligated to ignore their lying eyes and go along with what Chips had decided using a different standard of evidence while investigating something entirely different than the cocaine the police were seeking. Rekieta is wasting everyone's time and money on this Hail Mary effort to get the warrant tossed, and it smacks of desperation and his usual narcissist hubris. The bar for obtaining a warrant is very low. Rekieta would have to show the cops basically lied. But since everyone saw Rekieta under the influence with white powder on his nose, I'm not sure how he expects to say the cops were inventing the cause they used to get their warrant. Rekieta has doubled down on the video being altered, but refuses to say in what way it was altered and how the specific alteration matters to the signing of the warrant used to search his disheveled, filthy house. He also hasn't produced any evidence that the video used against him was altered. Rekieta wants to get what is called a Frank's hearing to get the warrant thrown out. He needs to show the police used intentional misrepresentation or reckless disregard. In addition, he then needs to show it made a real difference. This is doomed to failure in the opinion of all serious legal commentators. The judge has already had to tell Nick Rekieta to shut up multiple times during the omnibus hearing of his case, so the judge could well be very upset to have to sit Nick down and force him to comply with the evidence portions of the original hearing. Nick Rekieta, his wife Kayla Rekieta, and their shared lover April Anderson are all being charged in Minnesota with felonies related to illegal drugs. There are also firearm and child neglect charges. This is the Rekieta Scandalpalooza. Nick Rekieta is a non-practicing lawyer with 5 children. One of his children has returned a high reading on a hair follicle test intended to test for cocaine. Because of the child testing positive, Rekieta has been the subject of ongoing savage online and real-life criticism, in part due to his previous public figure status and the more wholesome false image he projected.